I would like to show you this book, Chess Opening Essentials, which is a book that I believe it came out in Italian first, maybe in 2004, and then 2008 was published in English. In Italian it's beautiful because it's kind of colorful inside. I just received it, so I don't know. I just wanted to show you because this book cost like $28-30, but I got it for $9.95. $9.95, and it's new. And it's new. Don't believe me? It's here, $9.95. You can see it there. Okay? So amazing. What is this book about? This book is about 1 e4. All the openings that black can use against 1 e4. I honestly don't know if 350 pages actually cover it all. But I believe it's interesting to keep our opening ideas open-minded in a sense, and the structure of this book is like this. They practically show you the opening that they want to treat in the chapter, and then there are some example games. So I will try to show you some of the chapters so we can both enjoy and discover more about 1 e4, right? I honestly love this chance to grow as a player. The book begins with the center game. The center game is 1 e4, e5, d4, e takes d4, and queen takes d4. Honestly, I have played this game, but I generally didn't play queen takes d4, I played c3. Because then it takes on c3, and then you don't take again, you just bring out. Because you try to bring out all the pieces right away and attack, okay? But in this book, we see that it's e takes d4 and queen takes d4. He says, white is playing a type of Scandinavian with an extra tempo. The pawn is already well placed on e4. While in the Scandinavian it is rare that black manages to get his pawn to e5. White prepares for a quick castle, long castle, okay? White will have active piece play and he will be able to exploit the space advantage which arises from the central pawn structure, with a white pawn on e4 and a black pawn on d6, so it seems black will play this. Of course, black has his own trumps to play after the natural knight c6. The white queen is forced to move and white loses a tempo. This in itself was sufficient reason for the center game to quickly become a museum piece and to be scoffed at for decades. However, its recent adoption, even if occasional, by very strong players the likes of Morozevich, Adams and Judith Polgar, has in part led to a re-evaluation of the opening. So what does white play here? Because you see, you need to think, if you play this, you have lost the game. So you need a kind of to be careful where you put that queen. It's in a sense like in the Scandinavian, right? So you could put it probably here, or you could put it here, but then you block the bishop f1. Here in this book they say, boom, queen e3, queen e3. With this move, suggested by the Syrian player Stamma in the 18th century, white prevents the free move d5, because obviously you lose this, right? By black, and prepares knight c3, bishop d2, followed by castle long queenside. Okay, so how does black continue? In the beginning you generally bring out the knights, so knight f6. Black must play actively so as not to be left with a structurally inferior position without compensation. Knight b1 c3, bishop b4. Now guys, I will not show you some sub-variant because that's not my goal. That's obviously, if one likes the book, they can buy it. I like to show the books because I do believe chess books are part of our growth as chess player. Okay, but I do believe the authors should be paid, at least because they made a big effort. And imagine, this book has been, so it was made in 2004 in Italian. Then it had the fourth English edition in 2007, second edition 2008, fourth English edition 2010. So it has been reprinted many times. It means it was also corrected, work on. It clearly is a work in progress, and I think you will like it. And I think maybe you can find it at the same price I got it. I think I got it from Amazon for $9.95. So it's amazing, $9.95, wow. Bishop c1, d2, castle, rook f8. Now the e4 pawn is under a great deal of pressure and white sacrifices it to maintain active play. This can be done in two different ways. Method 1 is bishop f1 c4, and method 2, queen e3 g3. Now it says the resulting positions are dynamically balanced, and even against correct play white cannot expect an objective advantage. It is clear that in practical play the opening is still an excellent surprise weapon. Most of the time black players will be unprepared for an opening that is so rarely played, and which is very much better than its reputation would suggest. Okay, so now we have a game between Romero, Holmes, Alfonso and Karpov, Anatoly, played in Madrid 1992. Okay, so that's why I like this book, that's why I bought it, because I like to see games, example games, model games of an opening that they want me to play. Without the model games, only the theory, I don't like it very much. Okay, e4, e5, d4, e takes d4, queen takes d4, knight c6, obviously queen e3, knight f6, knight c3, bishop b4, bishop d2, castle, rook e8, and here Romero, Holmes, Alfonso played bishop c4. Now, in 1896 there was bishop takes c3 as continuation, but white won at move 26. So what did Karpov play? Since the bishop is out, he played d6. Why play d6? Because you develop the light square bishop. Obviously, like he said, it's big pressure on this, no? So obviously you need to defend it. f3, knight f5, attacking this, bishop b3, knight takes b3, a takes b3. And now, what would you play as black? Yeah, I'm sorry guys that I show you the game from the white side, because it seems obviously black will win. Why black will win? Because black is Karpov. And Karpov 1992 was still at the top of his career, I think. which was a long career if you think about it. Well, he played a5, which makes sense because he wants to open the lines and attack the queen side where the enemy king is. Queen f2, bishop d7, as you can see he wants to support the attack. Knight g e2, we are at move 13, finally white finish his development. a4, b takes a4, bishop takes a4, knight b1, and of course when you want to attack you don't want to exchange pieces, because if you exchange pieces you lose the strength, right? So he played bishop c5. Obviously white wants to exchange pieces because in 1992 probably Karpov wasn't the world champion, but it was still probably the second in the world, and so he played bishop e3. b6, because he wants to open the b file for an attack. Bishop d4, he wants to destroy the pawn structure in front of this king so he can try a counter attack. Bishop d7, g4, rook a5, knight f4, bishop c6, rook h g1, knight d7, and knight h5. Very interesting move. Double attack on that. g6. This is interesting because it creates a lot of weak dark squares around the king. Queen d2, probably is trying to go here. Bishop takes d4, queen takes d4, unbelievable. G takes h5, g takes h5, check, okay. King f8, queen g7, king e7, and now unfortunately white makes a mistake. He plays rook g5. If I were you guys, I would pause the video and I would try to find the correct move which could lead white to have a kind of advantage. Okay? Or at least it's unclear, but rook g5 it's really a mistake because the game finished in about 8 moves. Okay, so try to pause the video. Okay, so I hope you pause the video. What should have played instead of rook g5? The right move was f4. To f4, here the line given is queen a8, but there is also bishop takes e4 as a possibility, rook g e1, d5, b4, rook 2, rook takes e4, d takes e4, queen g5, king f8, and here there is a queen h6 with a check that says it gives equality. Why gives equality? Because obviously black doesn't play this move that he would get checkmated by rook g1, and then if he goes here queen g7, he obviously has to play this, right? But once you play that, white goes back to play queen g5, and so why queen g5? Because it's a repetition. So obviously it would be a draw by repetition. Now let's go back and analyze. what was Karpov's evaluation, or what was the evaluation of this line. So we went back. Instead of rook g5, it says f4. After f4, instead of bishop takes e4, we see queen a8. Okay. After this, white continues with e5, d takes e5, and queen g5. See, if you play f takes e5, there is rook takes e5 and black is going to win, okay? That's Karpov evaluation of the position, so he says white needs to play queen g5. After queen g5, there is f6, queen f5, king d8, rook g7, rook c8, rook d takes d7, bishop takes d7, queen takes d7, and now there is king b7, queen takes e7, king a6, b4, rook c8, great move, queen f7, rook a4, and queen b3, b5, with an unclear position. Now, this line is definitely very interesting, but I don't understand how white should have calculated the 12 moves. That's the part which is little difficult to understand for me. Obviously, maybe in post-mortem analysis, yes, this was the line they analyze, but I don't think it's right. I mean, come on. Okay. 1992, probably they didn't have computers. We don't know, however, if this was checked by a computer, okay? So let's go back. Okay, so we were in this position, and Romero played this move, rook g5, while they think f4 was the move to play to reach a better position for white. So after rook g5, there is queen a8, b4, rook takes g5, queen takes g5, f6, queen g7, king d8. And now you understand, compared to the line we saw, what is the problem here. That this is here, this is here, they control e5, so they cannot open that. And also the fact that it doesn't have a rook here to control the rank. Yeah, it's kind of terrible for white. He can only start to pick up pawns. Rook takes h7, queen, sorry, not rook takes h7, queen takes h7, queen a2, queen h6, king c8, queen f4, rook h8, h6, queen g8, rook d3, and queen g5, and here it seems Romero resigned. Why? Because after take, yes, he can keep this, but as you can see, black has a kind of advantage, material advantage, that will use to take that advanced pawn. So black has a good position, also if white has a kind of two-pawn compensation that is going to disappear. So I hope you enjoyed this game, and nothing, we will see more from Chess Opening Essential Volume 1, the complete one, e4. Leave a comment and subscribe.